So 70% non-value add, but does that non-value add activity is it like really specialized knowledge or training you have to have, or is this sort of fungible activity?
No. So, okay. So let me, I was thinking of delving into it a little bit later, but since you have asked this question, let me also put across some of those activities that they have to take part of, right? And which takes a lot of the time. So the biggest activity which takes their time is the initial submission intake process. The problem with this activity is that what happens is that they deal with brokers day in and day out. And brokers usually end up asking for hundreds of documents from their clients, and they just dump it on the underwriters, irrespective of what the case is being considered for, what the documents are required. It's just a dump that goes there. Now, underwriter has to go through these documents just to figure out that initial set of information, bare minimum information is required to even start the process. Now, that's just the first step of it. The problem also happens that even though they are sending a lot of these documents, that doesn't mean that they are sending all the required documents. Then there's a lot of back and forth which also happens. That, okay, this information is missing. This document is not the most updated one. Can you send me the new version of it? Right? So all these initial processing itself takes a lot of days, and there's back and forth with the customer, which keeps on happening. And this takes away a lot of their time.
And I would say, Abhi, the next step, right, is everything you described is the back and forth to just make sure that submission is what I'll call in good order, right? That you have everything you need to do analysis. But once you get it in, then you actually have to validate that the information is correct, right? And there's a lot of data error potentially in some of those documents, whether it's coming from the broker, whether it's the end insured that maybe submitted something incorrectly, or it doesn't line up with all the fields that underwriter needs to input correctly. So there's the intake or the ingestion of everything you need. And then there's the validation that everything you need is in good order to even begin the process of doing the underwriting work, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But what you're stating is it's a real pain point within the industry, right? So like you mentioned, the first step itself is where getting the those data points is a big problem. And then once that happens, even validating some of those data points, if the information which is being put across, whether it's the right set of information which is there or not, all these things takes up a lot of their time and an effort. And then ultimately what happens is that it also results in a poor customer experience on the other side of it. Mm-hmm. So while you have the most expensive resource in the industry dealing with this particular activity, which doesn't even require them to be part of the process, and still at the end of it, you end up antagonizing your customers because they have a very poor experience of the whole process.